All right. Let's move on to a different position here. Cornerback J.C. Jackson of the New England Patriots had some very strong words to say about his current team. He told NBC Sports' Phil Perry, I guess they don't feel like they need me. I guess I can't be that important to them. I know I am, but they're not showing me. Excuse me. That was very difficult to read for some reason.
I thought you did good.
Thank you very much.
It's a big word for Elmo.
It was a big word for Elmo. So J.C. Jackson, the New England Patriots have somewhat cut off negotiations, I guess. He's definitely still a candidate to be franchise tagged. But at the same time, Bill Belichick is definitely at some pro day we've never heard of right now looking for a replacement. And if they find one, J.C. Jackson hits the market. His expected market value is, I want to say, like 77 million.
Yeah,
right?
4-year, $77 million deal via spot check.
Lot of money. But you just got over a Joe Hayden. You saw what a veteran-proven cornerback could do. Now you could get one that's 25 years old. I mean, if you have the cap space and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you going to make this deal happen if J.C. Jackson hits the open market?
If you have the cap space. I mean, you do, right? Right now, you do have the cap space to go make that happen.
Yeah.
I guess it's a matter of, do you want to grab one of the better cornerbacks in the league, or would you rather kind of fix some other pieces around the team and kind of work from there? In your article, you had stated that Cam Sutton, Justin Lane, and James Pierre are the only cornerbacks, outside boundary cornerbacks, under contract heading into next year.
Yep.
That's not good. Not great at all.
James Pierre and Justin Lane are on the last year of their deal, too. It's about to be Cam Sutton forever.
It is. And, J.C. Jackson, 25 interceptions through his first 4 years in the league. He had 23 pass breakups last year in 2021, which led the NFL. He could play. The guy can play.
Dude's a baller.
There's no question about that. It's a lot of money for a corner. That's a lot of money for a Steelers cornerback as well. I feel like they would probably be better suited finding just maybe a cheaper option at the cornerback position and then trying to go from there. But I can't say, as long as Minka and Deontay are willing to play under their current deal in 2022, I wouldn't be super upset with J.C. Jackson becoming Pittsburgh Steelers, so long as I know for a fact that they want to target offensive linemen early in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you go offensive lineman in the draft, J.C. Jackson in free agency, maybe draft a corner mid-round of the draft. That's a dangerous game to be throwing Jimmy Garoppolo into right there.
Yeah.
That'd be a team. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, the last time they gave up a cornerback contract, I mean, they gave Cam Sutton his last year, but it was definitely a homer deal. Joe Hayden signed a 2-year, $22 million extension a couple of years ago with a $16.8 million signing bonus. So 25 years old, 77 million comes out to what? 17 million, 18 million a year, somewhere around there. So you're essentially giving up about $7 million, more than that by the time he's done. Yeah, he's like 29 years old.
19.25.
That's a lot. 19.25 is a lot of millions of dollars. It's about $8 million more than what Joe Hayden was. For 4 years, he'd be 29 by the time you're done. Then you're looking at that last little extension. I don't know. I can't say no. If this is the year to spend money, it's the year to spend money. Yeah. I think that you're going to find yourself in a bidding war with teams where that $77 million might be a little bit higher.
Yeah, we're still also talking about an organization, like you pointed out, that, historically they don't hand out those contracts, those big contracts to cornerbacks. And I think it's the NFL Network's Mike Giardi that said that J.C. Jackson wants top 5 defensive back money. The Steelers are just not that kind of team to go out and do that. Maybe they.
Do you think that would change, though? Do you think that this is the year that changes? The trend has changed, and I think that with their backs up against the wall, do you feel that there's enough change in the NFL as a whole right now for that Kevin Colbert, Mike Tomlin to kind of say, we got to do something different because we're not winning right now?
So, absolutely, I do agree. I don't think this is the change that they're kind of looking for, though.
Okay.
I mean, Would you rather make a corner paid top five money and bring him here? Better question. Do you think they're a top five corner away from contending? No.
No, but
No.
I think that having a top five corner in the next 4 years puts you in position to contend.
Definitely. And adding that kind of talent and depth to the secondary, could pay dividends down the line. But what I'm saying is, wouldn't you rather take that $19.25 million and kind of like spread that elsewhere throughout the roster, and then kind of like not necessarily put the cornerback position on the back burner, but like let's say you find a really good corner in the draft. $19.25 million has been invested into a really good center, maybe a really good, left guard, or, maybe a really good interior linebacker that can actually cover somebody in coverage when other teams are trying to pass. There's a whole bunch of different ways to go about it. I just don't think J.C. Jackson would be the smartest move for the Steelers to make. But also on the other side of the coin, if they ink him to a deal, I'm not super upset. I just want to know what the vision is for the entire offseason, because I feel like we're going through almost a similar kind of feeling to what we went through last offseason. Whenever we talked about, hey, we need to hit X, Y, and Z for this team to get back to where it was, and the Steelers did not address X, Y, and Z for them to get back to where they were. And then now I just feel like we're almost like in a loop again. But this time we're without a Hall of Fame quarterback. And that's going to be the major storyline driver heading into they finally find somebody.
So it's like last year was XYZ. Now it's like STPQR, the whole thing. There's a billion letters. And I agree. It depends on the strategy. So like if they were to bring in a center or a tackle or an inside linebacker or, and then found a cornerback for a cheaper option and then maybe drafted a cornerback, that's totally fine. But I'd have to look at all those options. I'd have to say those moves would have to be made to justify not signing J.C. Jackson. Because if he is there and those moves aren't made and you just have that cap space sitting around waiting for nothing, then J.C. Jackson is a huge upgrade to a defense think about it. Cam Sutton, think about how much the Steelers just needed a cornerback last year. Look at the beginning of the season to the end of the season. When Ahkello Witherspoon finally clicked and the Pittsburgh Steelers had another outside guy, that defense was a totally different animal. It wasn't great, and there were times that they definitely sucked, but they were a much better team overall in those situations. So it definitely boosts it, and it's going to make guys like TJ Watt and that defensive line a lot better. But I agree. If you're plugging one option and ignoring four, plug four options, ignore one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the Steelers almost feel like they can get away with not signing a guy like J.C. Jackson because that front seven is so good, because, they're able to get to the passer better than any team in the National Football League for the last 4 or 5 years, I feel like, especially with a guy like TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, maybe Stephon Tuitt if he's able to come back, Alex Highsmith with another year of development underneath him. So, not to say that they want to put it on the back burner, but maybe that front seven gives them that feeling where, they feel like they don't need to immediately address it. One question I want to point out for you, though, would you rather sign Jackson to like top 5 corner money, or would you rather them take one of the top corners in the draft, like Derek Stingley or like Sauce Gardner? Like, would you be okay with either of those guys?
I'd even go as low as Andrew Booth. I would say those 3 guys. Dude, Derek has turned me on to Andrew Booth, and I won't lie, Madden has turned me on to Andrew Booth to the point where I did my research, and Andrew Booth's a stud. So is Sauce Gardner. Derek Stingley, I am not as high as a lot of people believe.
Yeah.
But I would still take them. I would say yes. If one of those 3 are there and you're deciding between those 3 or J.C. Jackson, easily those 3. Much cheaper. Give me 2 years on them. Easy. And they could grow with the team because the team's still got to grow. So I would definitely go that route. Either way, I think cornerback is definitely an option. I mean, to me, cornerback might be the 3rd highest need on this team. And honestly, it could be above quarterback because I'm somebody who's just like, ride it out with Mason, go find Marcus Mariota. You sign a J.C. Jackson, you're helping out Mason a ton. Because the best way to stop Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen is to not let them throw the football. Cornerbacks help in that situation. So